Welcome to our usual hovers. I'm Meeka Nomicon, and today I'm playing the game Lightkeeper, which is a collaborative game between Smart Strawberry, the creator of Berry Witch, and also Thinker, the developer behind Good Idea. Where it's time for us to explore a lighthouse that is shrouded in darkness, and try to uncover the secrets that are held within. The last thing I remember feeling was a cold, clawed hand gripping a hold of my face. Seeing something move within the shadows, just barely out of my peripheral vision. It was that. Then my vision was shrouded in darkness. Darkness is rare in the kingdom of Lumion. However, I'm not in Lumion anymore, am I? The kingdom of light never had a heavy, humid air like the atmosphere of wherever I am. The castle never felt this cold. You arose from the bed in your cell, pondering your new predicament. Something tight was clasped around your throat. You could feel it tugging you back the moment you tried to stand up. A chain? No way! Was I taken? Imprisoned? The metal around your neck was firm, but your eyes trailed down to the chain it was attached to. The cracks in the wall indicated that, wherever you were, it was quite old. Oh, that's definitely going to be good for us. I mean, if there's cracks in the wall, maybe we can loosen the chain? This could be to your benefit, if your suspicions were correct. As the princess, of course, you were trained exactly what to do should a situation like this happen. Stay put and wait to be rescued, but help will always find you. I can't just stay put. There has to be something I can do, other than just sit here helplessly. You gathered your strength, trying to conjure a bit of light to get a better view of your surroundings. Nothing. Huh? You felt weak, drained. The magic you had feels limited now. A dizzy, numbing sensation coursed through your mind, spreading to your fingertips. Oh, do you reckon there's some kind of magic repression on our cholera? That would definitely cause us issues. Whatever you did, it seems you would have to make do without magic. For now. Focusing on it only made you more feeble. Perhaps wearing out the chain link first would be the best course of action. Do you want to break the chain? See, I feel like breaking the chain is our best option, so I'm curious what would happen if we don't break it. No, trying to break free might only anger my captor. I don't want to do that. Who knows what might happen if I do? You release your grip on the chain, sighing as you turn your head to observe your surroundings once more. You couldn't move much, but the room was small enough. You could look at a few things nearby. I suppose I might as well look around the room, while I wait to find out my fate. You gained a trait. Obedient. Wait, I don't want to be obedient. Ah, man. I should have broke the chain. The bed you woke up from suddenly. You have no recollection of how you got here, nor how long you have been here. However, once things were certain, as long as you remained in this room, there wasn't much you could do to pass the time. You thought more on how comfortable the bed was. Given the situation, it was tempting you, like cheese in a mousetrap. You could indulge, or you could reconsider the possibility of breaking through the chains. They didn't look very strong. Worst comes to worst, you could always say it broke on its own. I mean, I could do. I do regret not breaking the chains. But I do enjoy a good nap. And I am feeling obedient. You give in, resting your head against the pillow once more. As you close your eyes, your mind swirled in confusion, trying to wrap your head around the situation. Where were you? What would be your fate in this cell? Would you rot alone here for the rest of your days? You didn't know. You were putting a lot of faith in your captor being merciful, yet your gut told you it was the right thing to do. Am I already getting Stockholm? The chain on your neck made it difficult to truly relax, but you managed to fall asleep all the same. A creaking noise filled the room, startling you awake. It was still dark outside. You presumed it was still very late into the night. Your eyes scanned the room, but it didn't take long before you noticed the figure peering in through the open doorway. She stared down at you silently, watching, waiting. You recognized her attire being the same as the woman in the painting. Wait, what painting? Was I supposed to see a painting? Although she was much more intimidating up close and personal. She took one step forward towards your bedside, then another. Her movements were slow and calculating, as if she were analyzing each one of your shaky breaths. Soon, she was hovering over you. You noticed her hand twitching. It was something that reminded you she was a living creature and not a menacing statue or a figure made up to scare children in the night. Oh, gnarly scars. You're shaking. Yeah, and you're twitching. What about it? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. This is gonna anger her, isn't it? Oh well, we're doing it regardless. The mysterious woman straightened her posture, moving her arms behind her back. She was hiding something. She stayed silent for a minute, staring you down with her masked gaze. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. That's all. You start to sit up. However, your movements freeze when you see the tall woman outstretched her arms in a commanding way. Stay down. Oh, well, I suppose I am feeling obedient, so I'll lie down again, shall I? She spoke in an authoritative tone, flexing her fingertips with the sharpest nails you've ever seen. It was reminiscent of a predator baring its claws. You hesitate for a moment before slowly lowering yourself back down on the bed. Good girl. She inched closer towards you, her hands less tense, but an authoritative aura still lingered thick in the air around her. Do as I say, and I will ensure no harm comes to you. Her hand gripped the chain hanging from your neck, pulling your face up close to her. Understood? Well, I suppose if I'm feeling obedient, we can nod obediently as well. You nodded, staring right up at her with a nervous expression. Yes, understood. Very good. Such a sweet, frightened little thing. You've been so compliant so far. Don't worry. Nothing will ever so much as harm a hair on that pretty little head of yours. A familiar cold hand gently grabbed a hold of your face. Ending obedient. Oh, I think I just became a pet. Oh, wait. So if I choose to break the chains, I can fail to do so? So wait, that means I'm still chained, but I haven't got the trait of obedient, right? I wonder if that would change our ending. Let's take a nap. Oh, okay, so actually I can't take a nap without refusing to break the chain. So I think regardless of what I do, I'm gonna get that obedient trait. Okay, so I couldn't get here to change our ending without the obedient trait. So I thought I might as well just come in and see if we can get some more context out of our friend here, right? So, Lightkeeper, why have you taken me? My princess, you're Elizabeth Lux, the heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Lumion, the Kingdom of Light. And I am the Lightkeeper. It only makes sense to take that which is rightfully mine. Oh, so you really did take me to keep me as a pet. You start to sit up. However, your movements freeze when you see the tall woman outstretched her arms in a commanding way. Okay, so let's successfully break the chain this time. Oh, we can do this. Easy peasy. Ah! As the link of chains break, you still find the shackle around your neck to be completely unmovable. At the very least, you can now walk around the room you were shut inside of. I'm still wagering that the collar part is repressing our magic. Can we still take a nap? The bed you woke up from suddenly. You have no recollection of how you got here, nor how long you have been here. Your questions will not go unanswered for long. You hoped. Ah, man, I can't take my nap. I wonder where we are then. You can smell the saltwater scent of the sea from your bed. That scent only got stronger the second you walked towards the only window in the room. An endless dark sea greets you. Light appears to be circling around the building, parting through the thick fog every few moments. Looking down, you realize your prison must be towards the top of a tall tower. A lighthouse, most likely. There are sharp, jagged rocks decorating the base of the lighthouse below. They almost look like a natural defense mechanism to keep anything unwanted out. How did I even get here? Did I really stay asleep through a trip by sea? I'm gonna wager there was magic involved. Oh, can I have the candle? The candle light flickers, being one of the only senses of warmth and light filling the room. Seeing as you're powerless, keeping a light source close by you may prove useful. Do you want to take the candle with you? Yes, I do believe I do. Clutching the candle holder tightly, you feel the slimmest sense of comfort being able to see more of your surroundings. You got a candlestick. Maybe we can read the book now. A journal of some sort laid on the edge of the window. Looking at it, you noticed it had writings about the upkeep of the place you were locked inside of. Why is this here? Does this room belong to the keep of the lighthouse? You scan through the notebook for anything that could prove useful to you. Attempt number 13, Magical Security System. Repairs to the old magical generator have proven successful. We managed to power them using crystals collected from the depths of Lumian's sacred mines. My servants have implemented an emergency security override successfully last night, testing these crystals. I ordered them to hide them for the time being among the lighthouse. You read further, hearing details describing what this security override could do. It seemed that you would be able to strengthen security or completely disable it if you collect 3 of those crystals and hook them up to the generator. Interesting. I suppose my best chance at survival would be to track down these crystals to gain access to the security. But where could they be? Don't suppose any are conveniently inside this room. Maybe inside the potted plant. A potted plant serves as one of the few decorations in the room. Admittedly, this cell was nicer compared to those found in most dungeons. It was rare to see one held captive in a room with plants, paintings, and a view of the sea. Wait, so is this our painting we were supposed to see? Looking upwards, you see a painting of a dark figure above your bed. A fabric draped over the face, yet you still recognize the woman in the painting. After all, you've heard countless stories about her. Her scars were deep enough to show the most tainted magic hiding beneath her scaly exterior. An aura of intimidation struck through your heart vigorously. Kin of dragon, reaper of enlightened souls, the Lightkeeper. She's been causing problems all throughout Lumion since as long as you could remember. She must have taken me, but why? Is it for power over my kingdom, or... I wonder if she's not only took me because she wants me as a pet, but also because she needs crystals, since she said she got them from our deep mines, right? Oh, a chandelier gently sways overhead, emanating a dim light around the room. You admire the aesthetic silently. I do appreciate the green glow. We should probably not stand underneath it though, if all the walls are cracked. Do you reckon we could leave? You jiggle the handle of the door, fully expecting it to be locked. You found yourself pleasantly surprised to hear a click. Oh, you fool, Lightkeeper! Did you really expect your chains to keep me? So you didn't even bother to lock the door? The rusted door creaked so loudly, it made the rest of the room feel deafeningly silent by comparison. However, after a few moments of the quiet lingering, you feel it is safe to move on past your enclosure. Do you want to leave the room? Yes, I feel it is time. The silence was replaced by the sounds of your unsteady steps tapping against the cold ground. Upon walking into the room, you felt a chill run down your spine, or rather, crawl down your spine. The tingling sensation felt like something small had gotten into your clothes, exploring your skin in ways most discomforting. The tiny little legs creeped their way down your torso and toward your ankles. Well, that's unpleasant. An unbearable itch spread across your legs as the crawl continued. The longer it went on, the more you felt like there were multiple insects clambering around you, rather than just one. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking there might not be anything there, but let's just spot at our legs just in case. Without hesitation, you bring your hands down to the fabric of your dress and smack down on your legs. You hear an unsettling crunch that nearly resembles the sound of knuckles cracking. Oh, maybe the bugs really were there. Pulling up your dress, you expect to see some sort of bug carcass fall to the floor. But there was nothing found, except for an unsettling green slime trickling down to your ankle. It emitted an odor most unpleasant, a musty stench that felt like acid to your nostrils. You attempted to wipe off the slime with your hands, but that only coated them in the sticky, slime-like substance. This smell is absolutely vile. Oh dear, better not linger in this room. It's making my paranoia much worse than it was before. I wonder what the 2 means. I mean, the room that we were in last time was 4, right? I was going to say it was floor numbers. You see an array of pinned bugs in display cases decorate the walls. You feel pity for the beautiful creatures. At least their beauty would not go to waste, even in death. For a moment, you ponder how you would feel if your dead body was used as a decoration. You know what? I'd feel honored if you've gone to the hassle of not only murdering me, but also displaying me. Well, kudos, you've done a good job. To be considered beautiful enough, people would want to honor and preserve it. As eerie as it is, I can't say the idea isn't at least a little flattering. Do you reckon I can search through the drawers? Looking in the drawers, you found an array of tools that looked like they were made for vivisections, as well as various food meant for insects and other animals. Nothing that seemed useful to you yet. Oh, yet you say? Okay, what about through the door? You approached the closet door with caution. There was a small note above it, though it was written in a draconic language you weren't well versed in. Judging by the way the handwriting was scratched on, you surmised it was an important note. A warning. Your hand grips the cold knob of the closet door, taking extra care to make minimal noise when turning it. You still weren't sure what could be lurking among the lighthouse, after all. Slowly, carefully, your eyes were overwhelmed with the sight of 20 or so different kinds of bugs, all of them swarming, crawling, and hopping around different parts of the closet. Well, that really is nightmare fuel. Oh, don't tell me. One of my crystals is going to be inside the closet. It felt empty, save for the insane amount of webs, nests, and hives decorating each corner of the enclosure. Something sparkled among the chaos of the closet. Underneath the seat of centipedes and ants, a silver key rested on a shelf. Okay, so not my crystal. That still seems like it's important though. You paused, unsure if it would be worth it to fish it away from the sea of insects before you. As much as I don't like the bugs, my curiosity needs to be satiated. We're gonna take the key. Taking a deep breath, you maneuvered your hand into the mess of a closet before you. You had a feeling these bugs weren't inherently harmless. It would be best to take caution and try to pry the key out without angering them. Oh wait, so I'm gonna give it another chance to fail my key collection? If I don't get the key, do you think I'm gonna get murdered by bugs? Let's test it. One centipede crawling on you wasn't enough to make you panic, but the longer you tried to pry the key away from the insects, the more crawled onto your hand in turn. The feeling of thousands of tiny legs scrambling into your sleeves and up your arms was revolting. You dropped the key onto the floor to start swatting at your arms. Of course, this only caused the insects to panic as well, making them scramble around your body in the most chaotic fashion. A foul odor emitted from some of the bugs you squashed, a repellent to other bugs perhaps. A warning. However, these bugs didn't work like they did back in Lumion. They were kindred spirit, a vengeful species. The spiders especially didn't take too kindly to you squashing one of their own. Despite their small size, you saw one of them rapidly crawl circles around your hand, encasing it in sticky, clingy web. Oh, damn! I'm in trouble. That is so many bites. Wait, are there already maggots on my injuries? I am definitely gonna die here. Stop! No! Thousands of bites pierced your skin. You could feel an irritating venom course through your veins. The agitation made you lightheaded. Every attempt to get them off of you only made more and more climb up your skin faster. Aha! Soon your face was completely covered in bugs. You felt a tickle in your ears. Disgusting. Tiny claws prodding into your nose and poking at your mouth. Seeing tiny kaleidoscope-looking eyes stare back into yours as they made their mark on your eyelashes was enough to cause you to faint. Oh man, just the thought of them going inside my ears. The venomous creatures numbed your entire body as your eyes slowly closed for the last time. Bad end. Damn, death by bugs. Okay, so maybe we should try and check our legs for bugs instead, since we couldn't find any carcasses last time. Grabbing the hem of your nightgown, you were expecting to see a sea of beady eyes and microscopic limbs decorate your ankles. You anxiously pulled it up to take a look. Nothing. Not a single ant, spider, or centipede. Nothing was present on your legs to give a clue as to what we were feeling moments before. Okay, we can do this. We can definitely get our key without getting ourselves poisoned by bugs. There we go. After successfully grabbing the key, you tried to guide any lingering bugs off of it. The silver on the key looks rusted, as if it hadn't been touched in a long, long time. You got a silver key. I don't think there's anything else supposed to do here, right? Maybe go down again? Oh, I'm -1 now. I'm guessing it can't be floor numbers then. The first thing you noticed upon properly entering the room was the cool atmosphere clinging to your skin. The darkness surrounding the room wasn't intense and terrifying like you feared, but rather relaxing instead. A bright glow emanated from the tank. A crystal floated in the water, practically beckoning you closer. This crystal felt more alluring than anything else you had seen in the lighthouse so far. How am I supposed to get that out? Oh, I know how to get that out. A weapon of great power lied before you. Its aura was intense, making you feel the weight of it before you even picked it up. The cool metal stung against your skin. You had a feeling this sort of weapon didn't take too kindly to strangers. I'm ever so sorry, but I may need your help. Forgive me. You got a hammer. Oh, come on, we've got to. It seems like the quickest solution to our problem. Let's smash the glass. For a brief moment, you contemplated the consequences if you smashed the glass with a hammer. No, no. Not only would that kill all of the fish inside, it could cause catastrophic flood. Not to mention, it would definitely be enough chaos to draw suspicion. I'd be found out and locked away immediately. I'm certain of it. You look again towards the glass. Oh, well, I know it's a bad idea and we shouldn't do it. But do it anyway. No, I'm not going to do it. You protested, trying to shake off the intense urge to break the glass. Oh, definitely do it. Come on, break the glass. It's only fish at the end of the day. Fish are evil. You looked down at the hammer, then back up in the tank. The gem glistened in the water, reflecting beautiful light throughout the room. You pondered the consequences once more. Breaking the glass would cause the room to flood, and it would definitely attract attention. But then again, that could work in your favor. If you grabbed the crystal and ran far from this room, you're fairly certain you wouldn't get caught amongst the confusion and panic it would take to mend the catastrophe. The lives of the aquatic creatures, however, weighed a bit heavier on your soul. Well, death to fish, do it! An intense instinct shot through your body, like an arrow into the chest. What were you doing, you wondered? You realized your life was on the line, and yet you felt vindicated under the assumption that your life was worth more than a few fish you were going to outlive regardless. You realized there is no guarantee they'd die in the room flooded regardless. There would be water on the floor. A loud shatter echoed throughout the room, consequently followed by the intense rupture of water flowing out of the tank. Another crash to the glass, then another. Water spouted out rapidly, soaking your feet and the hem of your dress. You saw the glimmering light of the crystal fall through the hole in the glass, but you managed to catch it before it collided with the floor. My apologies. I'm afraid dire times require dire actions. This room served no further use to you. You turned on your heel and escaped the flooding room. You got a crystal. You gained the trait misguided. I'm not misguided. I simply look for the most speedy of solutions. Where do you think I'm supposed to go now? Do you reckon we could go past the flooded room? To your surprise, this door didn't lead into the aquarium anymore. Was this another safety feature of the lighthouse? Regardless, you stepped through the door, anything to keep moving forward. Oh, so that's good to know. So rooms will change locations or the doorways will change. You attempted to get an idea of your surroundings, but the only thing you could take note of was the floor being made of wood due to the sound of its floorboards with your every step. Creak, creak, creak. You paused a moment, reaching your hands out to try and feel any furniture that might be around. Creak! The floorboards cried out. The only problem, you didn't make a step to cause the noise this time. You held up the candle, which barely lit the dark room around you. There didn't appear to be much to this room at first glance. However, upon further inspection, you noticed a hatched door on the floor. Just what could this lead to? Also, I don't see what also caused that creak. Okay, before we go through the hatch, should we explore see if we can find anything in the drawers? Oh, and we're in room 1 now. So maybe they're not floor numbers, maybe they're just room reference numbers. Inside, you find something most unusual for items and drawers. A variety of old books of varying subjects. The most common theme among them seems to be their importance to other kingdoms. You eventually find one pertaining to the history of the religion and folklore among the kingdom of Lumion. You notice a specific page bookmarked. Oh, read the page. Chapter X, The Royal Family. The Lux lineage falls from a direct line to the divine, the almighty light which guides us all. It's said that the light blessed the king with their own power once long ago, and that powerful energy has passed down throughout generations since then. Those blessed individuals aim to rule over all of Illumian with kindness and compassion, being most well renowned for their uncanny healing abilities and other proficiencies in magic. Each ruler has brought a new form of prosperity among the kingdom, and as the family tree grows, so will the light surrounding the world. You look through the pages, all which seem to be description of past rulers, with their images next to them. Whoever wrote this book seemed to view the family in high regards. The amount of praise was so overwhelming, it felt like you were reading a performance piece from a bard rather than a historical record. Any criticisms addressed in regards to the royal family were quickly denounced by this author with much vigor. Skimming through the pages, you stopped once you spotted something familiar. Yourself. You knew this book must have been new based on the fresh smell of the paper. However, you never expected it to be new enough to include your likeness. Strangely enough, the corner of your page was dog-eared in the book. Perhaps your captain needed a visual reference of you for kidnapping. Princess Elizabeth Lux, the merciful Mother of Light. Princess Elizabeth shows kindness to all of the kingdom, rich or poor, young or old. Our princess has sworn to take care of everyone who steps foot into Lumion, no matter the cost. She has spent much of her life thus far dedicated to studying ancient texts regarding the divine, and is truly the most in tune with our beloved light. The power she possesses is holier than any recorded in a ruler thus far. No matter the cost. You close the book. Once closed, you notice something peculiar on the back of the cover. There you can read the number 24 in small letters. 24, huh? Okay, what about in the closet? You try jiggling the handle of the closet, but it doesn't budge. Must be stuck. Listening closely, you feel like you can hear laughter from the other side. Oh, so maybe there was someone else in this room and they just hid in the closet. I don't think there's anything else we can click on. Okay, through the hatch then. A hatch door on the floor. You notice the wood here appears to be sturdier than the rest of the floor. Not that the distinction matters too much. Swinging the hatch open, you see nothing but the destruction you wrought on the floor below. Oh, is that into our aquarium room? Do you think the room's going to have changed when we go back? Sadly not. Looking in the drawers, you found an array of tools that looked like they were made for vivisections, as well as various food meant for insects and other animals. A rather large bag of fish food catches your attention. Oh, this must be for the fish in the aquarium down below. Oh, so maybe that's how we get our crystal without breaking the glass. Whoops. I wonder where I'm supposed to go then. So we can't go down anymore. Do I just take a nap? There's got to be something that I missed. I mean, I have got a single crystal so far. Sadly, the rooms don't seem to be changing, and I don't know where the generator is. There's got to be something in this room then that I missed. You didn't trust the last book's reputableness, but you recognized some of the authors of the other history books. You thought they might have more valuable information, if your curiosity tempted you enough to look. Oh, I suppose we can look at another book. Am I going to get caught in this room just because I'm busy with the books? Your expression lit up. One of your favorite books on the divine was in the Lightkeeper's possession. A familiar sight comforted you as you opened the book. Wait, these footnotes, Is this gonna be our book? This is my handwriting. Did they take my book when they kidnapped me? You skimmed over the text. The divine has intervened in mortal life only once, blessing the king of old who passed down his blessing throughout his family tree. The king was always referred to this gift as the Enlightenment. Not only has it been recorded that those with the Enlightenment possesses the ability to create blinding amounts of bright light, but it appears it affects each member of the royal family differently. A text taken from the king of old states that the light guides our path and makes us able to see that which is best for our people. We all have the capability to see so little. Without light, our eyes are not well adjusted to darkness. The Enlightenment provides me and my kin the ability to see possibilities which others cannot, guiding them through the unfamiliar and providing safety. This is one of the most famous explanations for the Enlightenment, with many philosophers and scholars having varying interpretations of any and all implications. The most popular theory to add on to this statement is that the Enlightenment was a gift from the divine in order to protect the kingdom of Lumion from the evil darkness of the shadows and other dark folk. Your eyes darted to your handwriting scribbled underneath. Light is nothing without shadow. These two things work together in harmony to create a picture. The absence of one imparts the visibility for all. You sighed, closing the book once more. As much as you adored the depth this author put into covering all the bases, you couldn't help but feel frustrated whenever someone used the Enlightenment's existence as proof that those who roam in the darkness are evil incarnate. Your whole life has been dedicated to understanding the divine and the Enlightenment, and you would continue to dedicate yourself until your dying breath. Oh, you gained the trait Lawkeeper. Amidst your frustration, you saw something etched into the back of the book you didn't recognize. The number 3 was written in handwriting that looked so different from your very own. So we've had 24 and 3, right? For a moment, you thought back to the note on the book closet. Could it be... Wait, I didn't think I could read that. Wait, let's go back to that room then. You feel no desire to open this closet again. It's better to leave the bugs inside undisturbed. Oh, but I wanted the note. 324, huh? Is there any more books? As much as you'd like to look through more books, you should really get going. Do you think the hatch has changed? A hatch door on the floor. Nope, it's still the destruction we've caused. So there's definitely nothing else in here for us now then. Oh! Okay, so now we've got a different option. Wait, so something be the most rare collector's item. I would be rare, that is certainly certain. The preserved corpse of a princess. Yes, there would probably be people paying millions of dollars for such a thing. Odd people indeed, but at least that means I have value, I suppose. It's gonna have to be something in here then. Maybe it's to do with this book. Interesting. I suppose my best chance of survival would be to track down these crystals to gain access to the security. But where could they be? Oh, okay, that didn't work. Oh! Wait, so our center picture is different? The glass case glints in the dim lighting. It feels perfect and serene. A shame you have to bash it into smithereens. I'd say we break the glass then. The glass shatters upon impact, with countless shards decorating the floor beneath you. With careful hands, you pry the crystal out of the casing. There we go. I'm terribly sorry, but there wasn't any time to find another solution. You got a crystal. Okay, so that's 2 of them then. I didn't even notice that. There's gotta be somewhere else for us to go. Oh, to your surprise, the door is now wide open. Huh? It looks like there's another room behind the closet. A hidden room. How curious. Oh, it's time to go then. I wonder if it needed me to have both crystals to get that. Walking into yet another eerie room, you couldn't shake the feeling like you were being watched. You cautiously walked further into the room, looking back and forth for any sign of intelligent life. Nothing. Child of light, you strayed far from your land. Has the darkness become your salvation? An eerie voice whispered right into your ear, as if it were hovering behind you. Startled, you turned around, but were met with nothing once more. Am I going mad? I must be. No. You're perfectly sane, little firefly. You gasped, hearing the voice now whispering directly into your other ear. Unsurprisingly, nothing was to your other side. You looked around with a sense of cautious confusion as the voice spoke out to you once more. Pray tell, what happens when an extension of such power as yourself strays far from the source it came from? Are you speaking of the divine? How observant. Yes, indeed, I am speaking of the divine. I can feel something about you. Something just out of reach in your mind. Come closer, child of light. I might regret this, but sure. You found yourself strangely drawn to the mirror in the middle of the room, taking cautious step after another. Good. Now I can see you better. The voice rang in your ears, but you were now able to identify the source. The mirror was speaking to you. It must be enchanted somehow. But more importantly, however, you noticed it contained one of the very same crystals you needed for the security system. One's face can tell many tales, little firefly. You're interested in my protective crystal, are you not? Yes, admittedly. A reflection tells a story of your past, present, and undecided future. You heard a low, almost eerie chuckle escaping the enchanted object. Tell you what, indulge me. Let me see your story. Let me peer into your very soul, and perhaps I'll give you my crystal in return. Peer into my soul? I'll just be looking at you very, very closely. Just comply, and the crystal will be yours. What do you say? Well, alright. I see no reason to trust the creepy enchanted mirror. What could possibly go wrong? Wonderful. Now, where to begin? The mirror tusked and tutted to itself, leaving you to stand there awkwardly in front of it while it thought to itself on what information it wanted to know. You actually managed to get a better look at your reflection here. Your nightgown had certainly seen better days after everything you had been through. Your eyes trailed upwards, looking at your face, and then, huh? You made a confused noise, getting closer to the mirror to look at yourself. Is something the matter, princess? Your hand gently traced the bows on your hair, fixing them up ever so slightly to lay better on your head. I don't remember putting these bows in my hair before bed. I haven't worn anything like this in a long time. I'm not even sure if these bows are mine. Where did they come from? Ah, is that so? If you'd like, Princess, I could search your memories for an answer. Perhaps the information you seek is out of reach of your mind in your weakened condition. In fact, this might be the perfect place to start to understand your story better. Yes, the bows are a good place to start. The mirror spoke, not bothering to wait for your consent to search your mind. The crystal above it glowed and made a low hum as you saw the contents of the mirror change and distort. Your mind felt numb as the hum got louder and louder. You became lightheaded and slightly dazed, but you managed to keep a steady footing on the ground beneath you. You saw flashes of your time in the lighthouse appear before you, bit by bit, like watching your life rewind at a rapid speed. The only difference is, it appears to not be from your perspective. What a strange thing, to look at yourself from a viewpoint outside of your eyes. You saw yourself waking up, the bows indeed tied neatly in your hair. Just a little further back then. But wait, You started to protest, until a wave of dizziness overcame you once more. It would be wise to not interrupt me while this is happening, Princess. While I am connected to you, your reflection is connected to me. Disrupting my process would be rather unpleasant. The mirror was digging up memories of your life prior to the lighthouse. The further back it went, the more uneasy you felt. I reckon that if we try to stop it, we're probably going to get another bad end, right? But I'm curious. Let's try to stop it. You fought against the mirror's influence. You didn't trust any of this. Not one bit. And your survival instincts were taking over. You clutched at your mind, enduring the worst headache you've ever experienced as the humming noise reverberated inside your brain. Oh, wait, so we can successfully do this. You all know we're not going to successfully do this. We're going to fail. You took one step back, then another. What are you doing? You fool! If you continue that, you'll... The voice spoke with such rigor that it only caused you to panic more. Whatever this thing was doing to you, it felt like you were being torn apart, both in mind and body. You cried out, feeling a burning sting all along your face, painfully numbing your neck and ears. You couldn't hear anything for a moment. Your vision was foggy. The only thing you knew was that something was painfully wrong. Once your vision cleared, you looked back into the mirror to find out what the source of this excruciating feeling was. Oh, damn! You peeled my skin off! Oh, that's gnarly. The sight before you caused an overwhelming nausea to form in your gut. Your ears were still ringing. You could only faintly make out the sound of the mirror mentioning your reflection. Something about getting caught between something. The burning, wet feeling of your blood trickling down your own face was the only thing your mind could properly focus on. Keeling over, you felt your vision fade in and out. In and out. In and out. Until there was nothing left. Yep, that was a bit of a bad end. You know what? That just reminded of Vipo the Genetic Opera, which has had one too many plastic surgeries and her face just peels off. God, do I love that movie. And I kind of really love this ending. Okay, so I don't think you can actually successfully stop it. The puzzle seems to be too long for the time you're given. So I reckon we should just try and calm ourselves down. You focus your energy into maintaining your composure. Looking over to the mirror frame, you watch time move backwards silently. Those bows don't appear to be anywhere here, the mirror said, although to you, it felt obvious this mirror had a different goal in mind than finding your bows. Suddenly, the rapid movements of your past came to a halt. The mirror was replaying your memories to you. It connected to your mind and made you relive the moment, experience the same feelings, smell the same smells, and feel the world around you that you were once so familiar with. You felt the scorching sun against your face. It was hotter than hell on that fateful day. The cracking sound of fire around you as you were led to the ritual ground only made your feelings of unease worse. Wait, am I about to be burnt? The only thing you could rely on in this moment were your senses other than sight. The blindfold and restraints made it hard to do much else. You heard cheering from a crowd. Praise to your god for your royal advisor. He had loudly rambled to the audience of what you could only assume was your entire kingdom. You had long since given up any hope, and your advisor could tell from the way he spoke. He talked of you as if you were the savior, who would be one of the divine in mere moments, consumed by the light of the fire, given closer and closer to your skin. More religious leaders from your kingdom chanted a language you spent your life dedicated to learning, spouting holy words that would end in your demise. Is this what happens to all royal family? They're eventually just burnt at the stake? They said your sacrifice would save them all. You heard a scream. At first you assumed it was the cheering of the crowd getting more intense, but then it was followed by another, and another. A cry from your advisor to stop the ritual was heard as the floor beneath you shook and trembled. You felt someone grab you rather forcefully, dragging you off of the platform you were propped on top of and ripping off your blindfold. An invasion of dark figures from a neighboring kingdom were interrupting the ritual, killing off every guard in sight. You know what? Good on them. I'm with the dark figures. Clearly the people of the light are just corrupt. You were ushered off a falsified sense of safety. Internally, you were grateful for the ambush, even if it would only prolong your life temporarily. But you can never forget the unease you felt when you saw how many people were out in the crowd, all staring right at you with a mixture of unpleasant expressions. Was there always eyes on the wall? I've only just noticed this. You stumbled backwards as you felt the grip on your mind cease. The feeling of judgment still lingered, like their eyes were still piercing your soul. Ah, my apologies. I let my curiosity get the better of me. This was merely yesterday, to be sacrificed to a god with the sun directly over you, people cheering your demise. How tragic. You had a pained expression on your face, unable to tell if the mirror's sympathetic tone was to mock you or not. But though I was locked away safe inside after that, the invasion lasted longer than any I've ever heard of. I could hear the combat from outside the castle walls. It was because of the invasion I'm still here today, strangely enough. The Lightkeeper had a plan in mind for you and your kingdom, one that the ritual to sacrifice you would have ruined. I suppose, when you say it that way, I should be grateful to her. But what exactly does she have planned for me? What is to be my fate? The Lightkeeper desires many things. Taking your kingdom for her own is on the top of that list of desires. I cannot say more than that, I'm afraid. I see. You know, you seem oddly calm for someone in your situation. Why is that? I have no choice. There is no time for rest or grief, no time for betrayal or hope. If I stop for even a moment, something horrible could happen. I need to focus on the task at hand. Something horrible could happen that is far out of your control, as it has, and as it will again. You know what? Screw you, don't be cryptid. I'm gonna break the mirror. Also, I still need your crystal. I have no use for you. You've tried my patience. You spoke out, grabbing the hammer you had used to break the glass of the aquarium. Without further hesitation, you swung the weapon towards the mirror, causing it to shatter with a brilliant loud crashing sound. The power from inside of the shattered mirror combusted into a ring of smoke that filled up the entire room in a dense fog. A familiar feeling flooded your mind, like a wave came crashing down on you, encapsulating your entire being. You felt all of your feelings that you've pushed down inside resurface, each painful memory replayed in your mind bit by bit. Is this the only way I can truly protect myself? After dedicating my life to my home, my kingdom, they would throw me away without a second thought. Why is that? Was it for power, control, or just out of plain stupidity? I've had enough. I can't sit here and let this happen again. They want to be protected at my expense. They want a false salvation. They want to use me to their heart's desire. Well, they can find someone else. I'll never let that happen again. Not from them. Not from anyone. It doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process. It never once did it? I'll make them sorry. Ending. Misguided soul. Oh, so I'm guessing I can only get that ending because I already broke the aquarium, right? Well, I've done what you asked. I showed you my memory, so can I have crystal, please? Well, I simply need to take things one step at a time. Ensuring my safety should be priority. As of now, would you be so kind as to let me use the crystal now? You reached your hand up near the top of the mirror, waiting for a response. Yes, I suppose you've proven yourself worthy. Very well, you may take it. You smiled, gently prying the beautiful gem from the frame of the mirror. Oh, so I'm guessing that if we chose not to let them see our memory, we wouldn't be able to take the gem? So that's all our 3 crystals then. Is there anything else in this room that I can see before I go? A small box sat on the shelf. You recognize the lock on it. It's a number lock. Back in Lumion, most people use boxes like this to keep important keepsakes safe. Just what could be so important to the Lightkeeper that she'd put it in a box like this? You felt your curiosity grow. Oh, it's the number combination, the ones we found in the book, right? Is it 2403? I think it was 2403. The combination seemed to be correct. The box opened. Inside was a small hand mirror that you instantly took out. There was clearly something magical about it, but you weren't well versed enough in this type of enchantment to tell what it was. Excuse me, may I ask you about something I found? I am at your disposal, little firefly. What is on your mind? You held out the small object for the mirror to observe. This mirror, I can tell it has some sort of magic infused inside of it, but I can't decipher what exactly that magic is. Both mirrors started to glow subtly in a pulsing motion as the hand mirror levitated out of your hands and floated in front of your face. Ah, yes, this mirror. I'm aware of it. This is a memory mirror, just like myself. However, this one was only made to store one memory in particular. Huh? What memory is stored on that? Whose memory is it? Could you show me, please? A few moments of silence fell across the room. You heard that oh so familiar mischievous chuckle right in your ear once more. As you wish, Your Highness. A familiar feeling flooded your mind, like a wave came crashing down on you, encapsulating your entire being. The mirror showed you a scene. You saw a castle shrouded in light, elegant decor, then a draconic child being held within the depths of it below. A smaller voice rang in your ears. Your thoughts became clouded and drowned out. These must be the thoughts of the person's memory.
These stupid chains! Gah! I wish I could burn this place to the ground.
You heard the sounds of metal clanging together. The young one appeared to be gnawing away at her restraints in a frustrated attempt to break free. After proving unsuccessful, she slumped down on the floor with a loud groan.
Let me out of here!
The tiny dragon banged on the side of the wall with her fists, immediately recoiling and shouting with pain.
Ow! Stupid wall, stupid castle, stupid kingdom. I hate it here. I want to go back to my cave. It was nice and dark there, surrounded by my treasure. Wait!
The dragon child's wings flared up, flapping in a panicked and agitated manner.
My treasure! Dang it, they confiscated it all when they took me. Those monsters!
A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts.
Your treasure?
You saw her rapidly turn her head to glare in the direction of the new voice, flapping her wings in an intimidating way. Or, well, as intimidating as someone of her size could be.
What do you want? Leave me alone. You already took everything from me.
Looking over who she was talking to, you saw yourself. Or rather, you from a long, long time ago. You were clutching a gold ring in your hand, embellished with a green jewel of sorts. You watched your younger self walk over to the prisoner, shutting the door behind you with a click.
Is this part of your treasure? My ring! Why does she have my ring? That's mine! Give that back, you little vermin! Ah!
The small dragon lunged to grab the ring from the princess's hand, but the chains restrained her from doing so. Your younger self nervously looked up at her, placing the ring down on the floor and sliding it over to her.
Huh? She's giving it back to me.
She cautiously reached out, grabbing the ring and holding it close to her chest protectively.
Why are you helping me?
The guards say you stole this, but I don't believe them. You look no older than I am. My name is Elizabella. I'm not really supposed to be here, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Darcy.
A smile formed on your past self's lips. Darcy, that's a lovely name.
Thanks. She's actually rather nice. So, can you get me out of here?
I'm afraid I cannot. These chains are infused with my father's magic. It would take a skilled magic user to undo such a thing. Darcy groaned again.
I'm gonna die alone down here. Don't say that. You didn't do anything to deserve being put down here. I swear I'll try to convince my father to let you go.
You sat down in front of the mirror, displaying this scene before you. You thought it would have ended at one memory, but you were surprised to see more and more play one after another. You smiled fondly, remembering your old friend. Every now and then her internal thoughts would surround your mind, making you chuckle. You remembered Darcy. How could you ever forget her? Your father had ordered her to capture after finding her alone in a cave. Something about that never sat right with you. Why is it sounding like everyone in that kingdom has been corrupt? And I'm guessing this is the Lightkeeper, right? In Lumion, dragon folk are often regarded as chaotic, dangerous beings. It wasn't out of the ordinary for the soldiers to capture one on sight. However, even as a child, you didn't believe that to be true. Not one bit. You never had much company around your age. When you heard of the dragon girl they captured, part of you didn't even care if she was guilty of a crime or not. You just wanted to meet her. You lost track of time as you recounted your past with Darcy.
Ellie? What are you doing? Cut that out, damn it! You're going to get in trouble.
You observed your younger self holding a book of spells taken directly from the King of Lumion, chanting the words faintly. You didn't stop for anything, even with Darcy protesting. The chains holding your friend dissolved into specks and sparkles of bright light, until the chains became no more. She looked down where her restraints used to be, with a baffled expression.
You really did it! She saved me, but she stole from her father to do so. Who knows what he'll do? Hurry! You'll have to get out of here before they find you. Wait! Come with me. I can protect you, I swear it. I can't. I have people here who rely on me. One day, I'll rule over Lumion myself, and I'll make it a safe place for you and your people. I promise you. Ellie, no!
Your younger self held something in her hands. Placing it into Darcy's with care, you recognized the small bows. They were the same ones you were currently wearing in your hair.
Please, just don't forget me.
You frowned once you heard a familiar noise. Your father calling out your name from the floor above.
You must go. Quickly. I'll come back for you. I promise, Ellie. I won't stop until I become powerful enough to find you again. Huh. So much running. Ellie, your smile is bright enough to fill the darkest corners of the world with sunlight. You were my salvation in that prison. When I looked into your eyes, I don't feel like the scared child I was, but the woman I must become to keep you by my side. I want to let these selfish desires overtake both of our spirits. I'd lay the world to fire and ash just to keep you smiling. I promise, I'll come back for you.
You stood up from your spot, watching on the floor, gently stroking the image of Darcy in the mirror, before it faded away completely, leaving you alone to look at your reflection.
Ellie!
Turning around, you recognized your old friend, only older and more powerful. This Lightkeeper. You had your suspicions it could be Darcy before, but now you were more certain than anything. You weren't sure how long she had been standing there watching you, but judging by her expression, she appeared like she'd been wanting to say something for a long time. You smiled.
You came back for me.
I promised I would. Ending. Lawkeeper.
Aww.
That was a fairly wholesome ending. Okay, so let's see what's down into the next room then, yes? Oh, it's that generator! I've not realised yet where we use the silver key. Before you stands a stone tablet with 3 notches. Do you want to put all magic crystals in here? Yes. The crystals glowed, reflecting iridescent light all throughout the dimly lit room. You watched in awe as sparks of magical energy came out of the crystals, connecting to each other through beams of light. You noticed it was making a faint whirring sound that progressively got more powerful. You felt calm, serene, until you felt something grab onto your wrist. You stared up at the towering dragon, clutching tightly onto you as the whirring of the crystals grew louder and louder. You fool! What do you think you're doing? She yowled over the sounds of the crystals, yanking your arm to pull you backwards away from the mechanism. You stumbled onto the ground. You're trying to go back. Do you have a death wish? Fine, if you won't stay here, then I'll just have to make you stay.
Wait!
You crashed to the floor with a thud. The Lightkeeper's grip on your arm only got tighter, each passing moment. You snatched the cold mask from the Lightkeeper's face, disorientating her enough to weave your way out from underneath her. She looked completely bewildered and a tad flustered, nothing like the fearsome woman you had seen minutes prior.
Darcy, listen to me!
You remember me? Darcy calls out over the sounds of the magical mechanisms getting louder and louder. You turned around, frantically pushing the crystals down into the sockets with more force. All around you, green beams of light twisted and contorted, forming geometric patterns that shielded the surrounding lighthouse. Once the shield went up, the whirring calmed down, and everything came to a standstill. You relaxed with a deep breath, escaping your lips. You turned the security on. I thought, surely you were trying to escape, weren't you? She took a few steps closer to you, speaking in a notably softer voice.
Why in the divine's name would I do that?
Well, I did kidnap you. I certainly didn't expect you to remember me either.
Oh, Darcy, how can I ever forget the dragon who made my youth less lonely?
You let out a light-hearted laugh. Truth be told, you felt like you were able to properly breathe for the first time since being captured here. There had always been tales of dragonfolk and princesses being at odds with each other. But for Darcy and yourself, the opposite was true.
Oh, those days sneaking off to meet you. I can never forget it. Not in a million years. After you left, I never thought I'd see you properly again, especially with our divulging reputations.
How could I just leave you there?
After hearing what those despicable people plan to do to you.
Just thinking about it makes my blood boil.
Well, thankfully, the magic here should protect us from outsiders for the time being.
I'm sorry for chaining you up, Ellie.
This lighthouse isn't exactly the safest place to be.
I promise, my princess, I'll make it up to you. Nothing will ever hurt you again. You felt a familiar cold hand caress your cheek gently. Any semblance of anger in Darcy was replaced by something much softer, something much more loving. You had been with Darcy for a couple of months now. The lighthouse was keeping you both safe inside, although you had been making plans to attempt to go further, out past the sea. Are you almost ready, my princess? Darcy called out to you, standing off to the side a bit awkwardly, with her wings covering her face. You finished putting on your dress, adjusting your hair accessories ever so slightly.
I think so. Just one more thing and... Okay, you can look now.
The dragon turned around, her wings falling back behind her as she smiled at you. My darling, you look just as beautiful as I had always remembered you. I'm glad we were able to steal that dress back for you. You felt Darcy gently pull your face close to hers, pressing her lips against yours.
Aww.
The feeling always gave you a spark, like an electric current shocked your entire body the second your lips connected, only to melt away into the happiest of feelings imaginable. You smiled as you pulled away from Darcy.
Truthfully, you are much too kind. I give you my thanks for retrieving so many of my things.
You looked down with a sad smile, thinking back on everything you had to leave behind at home, all the people you loved, all the possessions you cherished. Is it really no problem? I assure you. One day, I'll take Lumion back from its horrid rulers, and we will become the new ones in their stead. No more terrifying lighthouse, no more darkness, no more pain or suffering. For you, or for anyone undeserving. anything and everything you could ever want will be at your fingertips. You looked back up at the Lightkeeper, who was holding you as if you were the most precious thing in this world.
I think I already have everything I could ever want here with you.
True ending. Oh, that is so wholesome. I need to go back to the face peeling. Okay then. So wait, if we don't smash the aquarium and we just go down another room, then we can actually go through the hatch. Well, this is definitely going to be a bad idea, but let's jump in. You were hesitant at first, but you saw the light of the crystal floating down within the depths of the tank. You had no choice. Gathering your courage, you plunged into the freezing water. Your body shriveled up on instinct to colliding with the bitterly cold water. Desperately, you tried to keep your mouth closed, despite wanting to gasp on impulse. Your eyes adjusted to the darkness as you looked below you for the light of the crystal.
There it is! Huh? Why does it feel like it's getting lighter down here?
Oh, that is one chunk of fish. I am definitely going to get eaten. Looking up, you saw the source of the light you felt grow by the minute. A large beast swam before you, baring its teeth and slowly inching closer and closer. You curse your decision-making internally, your survival instincts kicking in as you swam down and underneath the fish in attempts to disorientate it. Well, I could probably escape the fish, but you know we're not gonna. Let's get eaten. A sharp tooth pierced through your torso, going through your heart as well as multiple bones. The pain was excruciating. The pain was short. Another crunch through your diaphragm, and everything ended just like that. Well, I suppose getting eaten by a giant fish is a quick ending at least. Man, we can do this. We can escape from the fish. Your swift movements were enough to temporarily confuse the gigantic creature, enabling you to grab a hold of the magic crystal. You kicked and pushed through the water faster than you ever had before in order to make a clean escape back up towards the hatch. Emerging to the surface, you panically pulled yourself up out of the hatch and onto the wooden floor. You keeled over, emptying the water in your throat and lungs onto the hardwood floor. The shift in temperature between the freezing cold water and the lighthouse was enough to cause you immense discomfort to your entire body. Still, looking down at the gemstone in your hand, you felt a wave of relief wash over you. You got a crystal. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I guess we can clean up the glass shards. Worry filled your eyes as you got to work. You used the ends of your nightgown to carefully pick up the broken shards of glass, collecting them bit by bit until no mess was left. Your eyes scanned the room for someone to dispose of them, eventually spotting a wastebasket of sorts. It was empty. Empty as the soul of a hero. Cautiously, you dumped the glass shards into the container, leaving the room as clean as you could, despite the circumstances. Letting out a sigh of relief, you looked on proudly at your work.
Now, no one will get hurt at least.
You gained the trait, kind-hearted. Oh, wait, this seems new. Moving onward to the next room, you paused in your tracks. Two voices could be heard nearby, arguing. You paused your steps, hiding behind a door that was slightly creaked open, to observe the situation. What do you mean she's missing? You heard an imposing voice dominate the room, speaking to a dark-boat creature who looked as if he wanted to be anywhere but here.
The chain has been severed, my lady. The door was unlocked. The princess is missing.
You peered into the doorway, seeing a 7-foot-tall dragon-like creature hover over a small shadow of a being. Her scars swirled with an uncanny power. The sight alone caused her breath to hitch. She tusked, looking down at the servant with a disapproving expression. You mean to tell me that you neglected my orders to ensure the prison was of quality? The Lightkeeper swiftly grabbed a hold of the dark boat's chin, forcing their gaze up to her.
Please forgive me, almighty Lightkeeper. I swear I will correct my error. Please.
You idiot! You saw the servant cower in her grasp. This plan will only work if she is alive, so you'd better find her fast. This is your last chance at redemption. If you continue to be so utterly incompetent. The dragon crouched down, slowly, taking her time as she forcefully let go of the servant's face in a way that pushed them backwards. Your eyes widened as you saw this being's face contort and morph. Her skin near her mouth widened and pulled apart as if it was some sort of slime or putty. Her hands flexed, bearing claw-like nails that you could have sworn weren't there moments before. Scales grew and covered her body as if it were nothing. The snapping sounds of her bones rearranging to fill up the large space sent shivers down your spine. I'll find her myself and make an example out of your pathetic excuse of servitude. Your gaze shifted to the poor servant, nodding frantically. Oh, I can intervene? It's probably a bad idea, but you know what? I'll save the servant.
Wait, stop!
You called out a pure impulse, immediately running and getting in between the poor darkboat being and the Lightkeeper. The latter of the two looked taken aback. Despite not seeing her eyes, you could tell by the way her jaw dropped subtly that she was shocked by this development.
I'm the one you want, right? Please, don't hurt anyone.
You pleaded, looking up at the towering woman before you. You relaxed ever so slightly as the Lightkeeper's form slowly turned back to what it was moments before, even if the sound of her cracking bones was still rather unpleasant. She silently stood over you, her expression unchanged. The tension in the air was deadly thick. You, go, she commanded, looking over the servant you had just saved. The dark boat looked over at you, then the Lightkeeper, before scurrying out of the room. You looked at your captor with a nervous expression, wondering what she was plotting next. She looked down at you in turn, leaning forward in order to meet your gaze in a little more leveled manner. How did you escape?
The chains were worn. I noticed one that looked frail and worked away at it until it broke. My sincerest apologies.
A silence fell between the two of you. You turned yourself in. Why?
You were going to hurt them.
You'd throw away your freedom for the sake of a creature you know nothing of.
I'd hate to be the reason behind unnecessary violence. I've had my share of that already.
You wanted to back up, but the taller woman only pulled your chain close to her. She stared into your eyes for what felt like an eternity before slowly letting go, standing upright. Her hand outstretched itself to you, making a gesture like she wanted you to put yourself on top of it. You complied, hesitating ever so slightly. Well, if you comply with my wishes, then I'll do my best to comply with yours as well. She sandwiched your hand in between hers. You couldn't help but notice her wings stretching themselves around you in an almost protective fashion. For a second, you wondered if somehow your act of kindness had charmed your captor. She was so menacing moments before, but this wasn't anything like you had expected. Come now, I won't be letting you out of my sight. Not after that stunt you pulled. She guided you out of the room, your hand in hers, and her wing gently pushing you forward. You were utterly confused. Yet you went along with it. It being kinda made the Lightkeeper kind to you in turn then. What harm could come from that? Ending, kill them with kindness. So I think I found where our last ending is. So if we just try to ignore the bugs biting our legs, you continue walking through the room, certainly kicking your legs with each step in attempts to shake the feeling off. A cascade of itchiness overcame your ankles once more. So much so, it became impossible to ignore much longer. Against your better judgment, you lifted the hem of your dress slightly to see what was causing your increasing discomfort. Bug bites. Nasty ones at that. Fresh, small red dots dot-coated your lower legs. You can see them begin to swell before your very eyes. Yet, there was not a single living bug to be seen.
What in Light's name? How did this happen? It looks infected. I've never seen a bug bite spread so fast like this. It's so itchy.
No, we must resist the temptation.
No, I am better than this. I am a lady. It'll only bother me more if I indulge. I just have to press onwards. There are more important things that need to be dealt with first. Then I'll take care of these gross inflictions.
As disgusting as it was, you had to move forward.
You gained a trait.
Strong-willed. Oh, that gives us a different option, because we've got the strong-willed trait, right?
Please, don't speak in riddles. It's awfully rude to scare a lady like that. Show yourself.
Ah, my sincerest apologies, Your Highness. A lady of your caliber deserves more respect than I have given, and for that I beg for your forgiveness. The voice continues whispering, although it had an insincere tone. You pouted with a discontent expression plastered on your face. I'm afraid, my princess, that I cannot show myself to you just yet. Could you please come closer into the light? I want to bask in your radiance up close. A low chuckle echoes throughout the room. I don't know if I wanted, to be perfectly honest. You found yourself strangely drawn to the mirror in the middle of the room. Taking cautious step after another, you heard the familiar whisper once more. Good. Now I can see you better. Oh, we can now express our discomfort in the situation.
So what do you propose I do? Let myself be tossed in between life and death scenarios against my will? I'm afraid I have it not in me to endure such a mess any longer.
Then what will you do, my liege? It's not like you have much of a choice in the matter. You wore a displeased expression, walking closer up to the mirror. With one foul swoop, you gripped the crystal at the top of the frame and pried it out. Wait, what are you? You got a crystal.
I tried remaining polite, but I simply have no time for this.
You huffed, beginning to walk away from the mirror. However, it seems the mirror had other plans. A loud, echoing scream emitted from the reflective object, piercing your ears. You quickly covered your ears, turning backwards to see the mirror, pulsating with a glowing enchanted light. This looked familiar. You recognized that it was acting as an alarm. Once recognition clicked, you wasted no time in darting towards the nearest door. Your legs still itched from the bug bites. Your feet were tired. You were unbearably cold, and you had never felt so close to death as you had been within the last 24 hours. Yet you kept running. You ran as fast as you could. You could hear footsteps trembling on the floor above, and distinct sound of yelling and someone barking orders filled the lighthouse. It wasn't long before you crashed into the shadowy creature. You recognized them as a dark folk, and they recognized you as their target. They lunged at you with a sharp spear, only barely missing your hair by an inch. You saw the spear they used get stuck in the crack of the wall beside you. With one hurried motion, you levered the spear out of the wall and held it up to your throat. Stop! Your voice commanded through the room, causing Darkbolt person to freeze in their tracks. Don't move a step closer. I am resigned to my fate. I'd rather die by my own hands. I'll do it, I swear. You called out, having absolutely no intention of ending your own life here. Truthfully, that's the last thing you would want to do in a moment. But it was the first thing your mind came up with to avoid being apprehended. The source of the commanding voice showed herself to you, her expression hidden behind a bejeweled mask. Still, you didn't break eye contact, choosing to stare right at her as you held the weapon to your neck. Princess, please put the spear down. She spoke with a sense of authority that almost shook your resolve, but it wasn't enough. You need me alive, do you not? If you didn't, you wouldn't have gone through all this trouble. The imposing figure took a step backwards. Since she looked at you with an air of uncertainty, like no one had ever said such things to her. Silence. A sudden realization ran through your mind. You were in control. You could make any demand and they would have to hear you out. Now that you knew they needed you alive, you just had to make sure they believed you would be willing to throw your life away should they try to force you into something unpleasant. Of course, this plan wasn't foolproof. No plan is. However, since you had managed to convince them to remove the chains from around your neck, you felt better at your chances of survival. One request after another, and it became apparent they would do anything to appease you. You had a chance to take your life back into your own hands. Your decisions, your actions. Thanks to your strength, you could finally reclaim it all for yourself. Ending. Strength of will. I'm in control now. You know, I'm rather glad I ended up with Darcy. I mean, clearly my actual kingdom is nothing but corrupt if they're willing to sacrifice me. If you enjoyed that playthrough, I'd really appreciate you could like this video and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, you have a spooky day and I'll catch you next time, guys.